hair-growing torso. Pudding is a subtle guest and will blow up the factory by concentrating the sun's rays with the lens of his glasses. Świtezianka in the marshes dreams of dawn in radioactive fog. It's so subtle for her. Caviar goes well with coffee. And today is yesterday's tomorrow. We dead bodies have no sense of time. Do we need life? Remember that an old Japanese proverb says, "A bird will not build a nest in a bare tree." Why the heads of Rick's sons? I kept asking myself that question and didn't want to believe it. Or maybe they didn't betray Rico, maybe it was Rico who betrayed us? Who were they when he sent them to school, and who did they become afterwards? Rico has always been in good contact with them. He adored them and pampered them. So was it his doing this time? No, or maybe it was not just a silent consent, maybe indulgence, or maybe he found out too late and sat with a mouthful of water? No, not Rico, not him. Besides, why would he be so involved in searching with us? Nobody does such things to confuse the opponent. We tracked down, and that's what, Rico tracked down Mariola's client. Why? He could have concealed this information. No, Rico, he was clearly surprised by his sons. Hey, rather through their heads. Becoming a dear and a deceived father is a bit too much for the old tomcat that Rico undoubtedly was. What if it was Rico who was pulling the strings? Yeah. I stared at the people in front of me walking along the waterfront. Marija knocked down small cactus plants trying to take over the walls separating the river from the street for good. Do you have a hair on your torso? Your back curls? Ascorbic acid is not a substitute for natural vitamin C. This monosodium glutamate has the flavor of the best memories. Have you ever seen new proverbs, Marija? Is your back glistening in the dark or phosphorescent? She asked, rubbing her spine against me. She stretched at the same time. I looked at her closely and replied philosophically. Or rather stupid. Do you have regular wings or do you have cardboard wings? The river is lit, Marija thought suddenly. She looked into the distance and frowned as if in the stillness of the moment. Bridges and cars ants moving over them, the noise carried on the water all the way to here, the mixed aroma of orchids and dry grass, and the close steps behind us, created a nameless and great city. Heat, heat, heat. And what does my Indian, Marija say? She looked at me amused. A wet towel is good for the temples. She said suddenly. Yes, yes, what do you say? I mocked her. Ashes are good for thoughts. Peace of mind allows you to brush it off with the 10th finger. Calm? She asked. Seeing other people staring at us from all sides, I realized. Come on. See how to complete close. She flexed her waist slightly back. The street was full of tourists spending under the weight of credit and debit cards. The sunglasses separated their separate privacy and allowed sweat droplets to accumulate in the lines under the eyes and near the noses. They were looking for hats or scarves with which they could wrap themselves in the illusion of protection against the hot climate and the heat of the sun, which pressed everything into the plasticine of asphalt and dust. Marija stared at me. There's a guy I need to tell you I love him. Okay. I replied. Then we go through the La Pietra tunnel. She started trying on more clothes. Mushroom shirt, I screamed. I knew right away that this was it. He looks in front of the mirror. But it doesn't stop there, don't stop there. Shriveled old lady, huh? And what else? I asked devastated. Mushroom ring? A mushroom umbrella and a hat and puffballs? Mushroom lining and socks. She chose large and spotted mushroom socks. What we do? I asked after a few minutes. We're kissing. She grunted and kissed me. Shouldn't we, because we're friends? I asked ironically. Friends can. Because they are friends. She kissed me again. We're a wife and husband. Is it too little? She smiled. Kissing supposedly destroys friendship? I also have a mushroom belt. She pulled out a belt with a large buckle. It is a perversion to buy mushroomed clothes, when they were first repeatedly fumigated and sprayed with anti-mildew in ports and in warehouses and on ships. You are a decrepit angel, hombre. Do the dwarfs keep their shoes under the mushrooms? I hummed, bored with the mushroom topic. Hopses. Not in the basket, but in the song. Don't the lovebirds go to the sponge by themselves? Do they have to fly over the bathtub to that sponge? What are you going to think of, hombre? Do you have to tell such stories? But I continued to chatter. Do they phosphoresce like angels? No? She asked suddenly. As you used to say, the word no, does you mean yes? No. She said simply and quickly. We urgently need to recalculate our decision paradigm. Why is she so fond of such colors and such mushrooms? After all, This will not solve our questions. Tell me better, do you sit in the bathtub for a long time? Suddenly her voice was rough and thick. Do you like your fingers wrinkling in the bath? Do you like putting everything back in a drawer? Oh. It's such a waste of spare time. I told the truth. The outside world seems dead. Hombre? Do you like shooting joints while sitting in the bathtub? I smiled under my breath. Start at www.kubi.pl and chapter TS001 in 91 languages.